Please be seated. With us today is General Secretary of the CPC Central Committee, President and Chairman of the Central Military Commission, Comrade Xi Jinping. Also attending the meeting are other party and state leaders in Beijing, former party and state leaders, former members of the Central Military Commission, leading officials of Central Party, government, military and people's organizations, and of Beijing municipality, leaders of the central committees of the other political parties and the All China Federation of Industry and Commerce, as well as representatives of personages without party affiliation, members and alternate members of the CPC Central Committee in Beijing, members of the Standing Committee of the NPC and CPPCC National Committee in Beijing, representative of retired veteran cadres and other senior comrades in Beijing, former staff members who worked with Comrade Jiang Zemin, his family members, children, and representatives from his hometown. Participants in the symposium on Comrade Jiang Zemin's life and thought, representative of officials and employees of Central Party and state organs, representative from various sectors of society, and representative of officials and officers and soldiers of military units stationed in Beijing. Next, please allow me to invite Comrade Xi Jinping to deliver the speech. He is also the General Secretary of the CPC Central Committee, President and Chairman of the Central Military Commission. Comrades and friends, today we are holding a ground gathering to commemorate the centenary of the birth of late Chinese leader Jiang Zemin, to cherish the memories of his extraordinary achievements and learn deeply his outstanding qualities, and encourage the whole party and the Chinese people of all ethnic groups to forge ahead the cause of socialism with Chinese characteristics. Comrade Jiang Zemin was an outstanding leader, enjoying high prestige, acknowledged by the whole party, the entire military, and the Chinese people of all ethnic groups. A great Marxist, a great proletarian revolutionary, statesman, military strategist, and diplomat. A long-tested communist fighter, and an outstanding leader of the great cause of socialism with Chinese characteristics. He was the core of the party's third generation of central collective leadership and the principal founder of the theory of three represents. 100 years ago today, Comrade Jiang Zemin was born into a patriotic intellectual family in Yangzhou, Jiangsu province. Ever since his adolescent years, he had committed himself to seeking truth and had actively participated in patriotic progressive student movement. In April 1946, he joined the CPC and had since devoted all his life to the party and the people. After the founding of the People's Republic of China, Comrade Jiang Zemin had successfully worked at enterprises, scientific research institutions, and state ministries and commissions. He was dedicated, responsible, and hardworking at each and every post he was assigned to, and devoted his prime years to the cause of socialist revolution and construction. At the beginning of the reform and opening up, Comrade Jiang Zemin served as Vice Chairman and concurrently Secretary General of the State Administration Commission on Import-Export Affairs and the State Administration Commission on Foreign Investment. Later, he was appointed first Vice Minister and then Minister of the Ministry of Electronics Industry. He did a lot of pioneering work for the endeavor of reform and opening up. At the 12th CPC National Congress, he was elected member of the CPC Central Committee. In 1985, Comrade Jiang Zemin served as the CPC Shanghai Municipal Committee Deputy Secretary and Mayor of Shanghai. In 1987, he was elected member of the Political Bureau of the CPC Central Committee at the first plenary session of the 13th CPC Central Committee and appointed Secretary of the CPC Shanghai Municipal Committee. When serving in the posts in Shanghai, he led cadres and masses in raising their spirits and boldly exploring new paths. He led the work to chart the course for Shanghai's economic development and urban construction, and laid the groundwork for the development and opening up of Pudong, making outstanding contributions to advancing Shanghai in reform, opening up, and socialist modernization drive. In the late spring and early summer of 1989, a severe political disturbance took place in China. Comrade Jiang Zemin resolutely upheld and implemented the CPC Central Committee's correct decision and effectively maintained the stability of Shanghai. In June 1989, Comrade Jiang Zemin, at the fourth plenary session of the 13th CPC Central Committee, was elected member of the Standing Committee of the Political Bureau of the CPC Central Committee and General Secretary of the CPC Central Committee. In November that year, at the fifth plenary session of the 13th CPC Central Committee, it was decided that he would serve as the chairman of the Central Military Commission of the CPC. The party's third generation of central collective leadership with Comrade Jiang Zemin at the core took shape. During these 13 years between the fourth plenary session of the 13th CPC Central Committee and the 16th CPC National Congress, China's reform, opening up, and socialist modernization drive unfolded with great momentum amid a highly volatile international situation. Comrade Jiang Zemin led the central collective leadership of the CPC in holding high the great banners of Marxism, Leninism, Mao Zedong thought, and Deng Xiaoping theory, and fervently adhering to the party's basic line, and firmly relying on the whole party, the entire military, and the Chinese people of all ethnic groups to uphold and develop socialism with Chinese characteristics, thus making great contributions to helping China open new ground in reform, opening up, and socialist modernization drive. When preparing for the 16th CPC National Congress, Comrade Jiang Zemin proposed that he would no longer serve in the central leading posts. In 2004, he offered to retire from his posts as chairman of the CMC of the CPC and chairman of the CMC of the PRC. After retiring from leadership posts, Comrade Jiang Zemin firmly upheld the work of the CPC Central Committee and gave it his support. He cared for the great cause of socialism with Chinese characteristics and resolutely supported the efforts to improve party conduct and combat corruption.
Comrades, friends, Comrade Jiang Zemin lived a glorious life, a life of fighting and struggle. He devoted his entire life and all his energy to the cause of the national independence and the liberation of the people, and to making China prosperous and strong. Under his leadership, remarkably new progress was made in developing socialist material, political, and cultural ethical advancement and in strengthening party building. He made incredible contributions to upholding the great cause of socialism with Chinese characteristics, opening up new prospects for reform and opening up across the board, achieving moderate prosperity in the people's lives on the whole, and successfully advancing socialism with Chinese characteristics into the 21st century. He earned the heartfelt love and the respect of the whole party, the entire military, and the Chinese people of all ethnic groups, as well as widespread acclaim from the international community. Comrades, friends, during his revolutionary career of more than 70 years, especially his outstanding achievements made since the fourth plenary session of the 13th CPC Central Committee. With all of these great practices, Comrade Jiang Zemin fully demonstrated his key role as a Marxist statesman. His key role, his leadership, all of these set an example to encourage all of us to learn from and make progress. We should learn from Comrade Jiang Zemin's unswerving faith in politics. Comrade Jiang Zemin remained unswerving firm in communist ideals. He is loyal to the party and the people. He resolutely committed himself to the party and the people. He said, "Our fundamental political belief as Chinese communists is socialism and communism. And our world will is the Marxist world will of dialectical and historical materialism. We must never waver in these beliefs in the slightest and any time." When he was entrusted with critical responsibilities of assuming the principal leadership positions in the party and the military at a critical juncture, he stated that we have to be clear about two things, especially since the third plenary session of the 11th CPC Central Committee. The first one is that we must remain steadfast and never waver. Second, we must fully implement them and stay the course. For the course of the party and the people, I will devote myself completely and work tirelessly until my last breath. Between the late 1980s and the early 1990s, facing severe political disturbances in the international arena in China, facing all of these challenges, Comrade Jiang Zemin unswervingly took economic development as the central task, upheld the four cardinal principles, adhere to reform and opening up, and safeguarding national independence, dignity, security, and stability. And also, he upheld the independence, dignity, security, and the stability. He learned lessons from both overseas and at home, stressing that to do a good job of governing the country, the party must first do a good job of governing itself. When we're developing the economy, we have to make sure that we adhere to the party leadership. He emphasized that the party must always be the vanguard of the Chinese working classes, and also the vanguard of the Chinese people and the Chinese nation. He put forward the party's two historical tasks. So we have to be integrity, and also we have to strengthen our leadership and also the party governance capability. And we need to have the capability to fight against the corruption and ward off risks. By doing all of this, we can ensure the advancement and the purity of the party. And also he made a contribution to the new great cause of the party construction. On the new journey, we must stay true to the original aspiration and founding mission. We must adhere to the party's basic theory, the communism, and also our strong belief to the socialism with Chinese characteristics. We also have to adhere to the party's basic theory, basic line, and the basic policies. We have to strengthen the four consciousness, firm up the four confidences, and do the two upholds. We have to stay committed to the overall leadership of the party and also the unified collective leadership of the CPC Central Committee. And also we have to promote the governing of the party in strict discipline to ensure that the party is the strong leadership to building China into a socialism with Chinese characteristics. We should learn from Comrade Jiang Zemin's true and deep care for the people. Comrade Jiang Zemin always stood by the people, caring for their security and well-beings. And he always deploy his work from the basic fundamental interests of the majority of our people. He emphasized that we have to serve the people wholeheartedly, and also we have to do our work to serve our people. And this is the way how we differentiate from the other parties. At any time, we have to share the same community with our people. This shall remain unchanged. And this is our founding mission, to serve the people. We have to believe that our people is the real heroes. And we shall never abandon this historical materialist view that the people are the true heroes. He pointed out that the fundamental purpose of the economic development is to improve the standard and quality of people's lives. He emphasized that we have to build a moderately prosperous society in all aspects with higher quality that can benefiting all the billions of people. He requested that for all the party members, officials have to care the people and shoulder responsibilities to serve the people and to find ways to bring benefits to our people. We have to underscore the importance of the fundamental interest of the vast majority of our people. And also we need to guide our people and also protect their initiative and to do the job for our nation. He led the implementation of the Western Development Strategy and the National 7-Year Priority Poverty Alleviation Program, and introduced policies and measures to increase farmers' incomes and support the livelihoods and the employment of the laid-off workers from the state-owned enterprises. These efforts gave strong impetus to the transformation in people's living standards in the new period, from inadequate food and clothing to moderate prosperity on the whole, and onwards towards moderate prosperity in all aspects. On the new journey, we must stay in mind that the country is our people, and the people representing our country. We must maintain a people-centered mindset and carry out mass line in the new era. We have to rely on our people to make sure that officials can serve our people and to work together with the party in the new era to serve the people. We depend on our people to create historical achievements so as to promote people's all-rounded development and make strides in common prosperity. We should learn from Comrade Jiang Zemin's innovative spirit of keeping pace with the times. Comrade Jiang Zemin was steadfast in liberating mind, staying pragmatic and keeping pace with the times. He looked to the needs of the development and kept promoting innovation in theory, system, science, technology, and culture, as well as all kinds of innovation. He stressed that innovation is the essence of the progress of the nation, the impetus for a nation to thrive, and the source of vitality for a ruling party. We have to bear in mind the context of China's reform and opening up and the modernization. We need to focus on all of these realities, and also we have to make good use of the Marxism and also to have the radical thinking of the real problems. He emphasized that for all the work of the party and the theories need to be in line with the era, and also we need to find a pattern to deliver our job And all of this work shall be innovative. We have to pull the wisdoms, and he also founded the theory of three represents, which underscore that the party must always represent China's need for advanced productive force, must represent direction of China's advanced culture, and represent the interest of the masses of the Chinese people. He also shed light on the question is what socialism is and how to build it. He also provided answers to how to build the socialism and how to build the party and to build what kind of party. His theory helped us to better understand to promoting the course of the socialism with Chinese characteristics, and also help us to understand the pattern how the party runs. With the leadership of Comrade Jiang Zemin, and we understood the basic framework in the primary stage in operating the socialism, and also to set out the reform goals and the framework for the socialist market economy. And also he led us to know how to develop different entities and allocation systems. He led us to reform the basic economic system and the wealth allocation system to allow us for more diversification and dynamism. This will also help us to have transformation in various sectors, including the economy, politics, and the culture. He proposed to introduce the world in and also going global in the meantime. In the spirit of promoting reform and development through opening up, he led us to join the World Trade Organization, advancing into a new landscape of the international reach.
On the journey ahead, we should apply that Marxism with the Chinese reality and find traditional culture. We should answer the questions proposed by China, by the world, by the people, and by the times. And identify rational solutions so as to maintain evergreen vitality of Marxism. We should further deepen reform and opening up comprehensively. Promote the modernization of our national governance system and governance capacity. Stimulate the energy for innovation of the whole party and the whole society, and keep injecting impetus to social and economic development. We should learn from Comrade Jiang Zemin's strategic thinking characterized by foresight and a long-term perspective. Comrade Jiang Zemin was far-sighted and could make correct assessments of different situations. He always observed and reflected on issues by taking into consideration the general development trends of China and the world, as well as the overall work of the party and the state. Through a series of major decisions and important measures that were oriented toward the world and focused on the future, he advanced the cause of the party and the country. He emphasized, all party comrades must observe the world with the broad vision of Marxism. By a broad vision, we mean, on the one hand, taking a long-term historical perspective, and on the other, taking a global and overall perspective. We must correctly understand the major changes taking place in Chinese society and in today's world, correctly understand the major changes in the working and living conditions and social environment of the broad ranks of party members, officials, and the people, correctly understand the new tasks, new issues, and new challenges these changes pose for the development of the cause of our party and the state, and strengthened research into major theoretical and practical issues that are overarching, strategic, and forward-looking. Proceeding from the major judgment that the first 2 decades of the 21st century constituted an important period of strategic opportunity that China must seize firmly and in which much could be accomplished, he made forward-looking plans for building a moderately prosperous society in all respects and achieving the third step strategic objective. He put forward the basic principle of seizing opportunities, deepening the reform, and opening China wider to the outside world, promoting development and maintaining stability. He expounded on the 12 major relationships that should be properly handled in boosting socialist modernization. He upheld development as the party's top priority in governing and rejuvenating the country, and led the whole party and the Chinese people of all ethnic groups in concentrating on development and devoting themselves wholeheartedly to pursuing it. He led us in actively developing socialist democracy, implementing the basic strategy of law-based governance, and developing an advanced socialist culture. He presided over the formulation of the military strategic guidelines for the new period, advanced the transformation of the military with Chinese characteristics, and strengthened the efforts to make the People's Armed Forces more revolutionary, modernized, and standardized. He led the smooth return of Hong Kong and Macau to the motherland, pushing for both sides of the Taiwan Strait to reach the 1992 consensus embodying the One China principle, and making major moves to fight against the separatists and oppose Taiwan independence. He put forward a series of ideas on diplomacy and international strategy and worked to ensure the world multipolarity and economic globalization developed in the right direction. On the new journey, we must take into consideration both the overall strategic context of the great rejuvenation of the Chinese nation and the profound changes unseen in the century in the world. We must exercise overall leadership over the great struggle, the great project, the great cause, and the great dream. Advance the 5-sphere integrated plan in a coordinated manner and pursue the 4-pronged comprehensive strategy. Fully, faithfully, and comprehensively apply the new development philosophy, accelerate the creation of a new development paradigm, and make solid progress in pursuing high-quality development. We must remain committed to the purpose of China's foreign policy of safeguarding world peace and promoting common development, advance the implementation of the Global Development Initiative, the Global Security Initiative, the Global Civilization Initiative, and the Global Governance Initiative, and promote the building of a community with a shared future for humanity, thereby injecting more positive energy into world peace and development. We should learn from Comrade Jiang Zemin's extraordinary courage, fortitude, and decisiveness. At major historical junctures and critical moments, Comrade Jiang Zemin had the courage to make decisions decisively, calmly responded to risks and challenges, and resolutely overcame difficulties and obstacles, thereby opening up broad space and creating a favorable environment for China's modernization. He pointed out to make a success of the cause of modernization, we must possess an iron will that fears no difficulties and perseverance in the face of adversity, as well as a heroic spirit marked by resolve and the courage to achieve victory. When it comes to matters that conform to the party's line, principles, and policies and meet the requirements of the Central Committee, once we are certain that they are right, we must make decisions resolutely and act swiftly and vigorously. We must never hesitate or allow opportunities to slip away. With a strong sense of historical responsibility and a tremendous political courage, he led us in properly addressing major potential dangers that threatened the stability of the country's overall political situation, calmly responding to a series of unexpected international incidents concerning China's sovereignty and security, and overcoming difficulties and risks arising in the political and economic spheres and from natural disasters. In particular, he successfully led efforts to withstand the impact of the Asian financial crisis and secure a complete victory in the fight against the severe floods of 1998. Having stood the test time and again and overcome interference of every kind, he maintained overall social stability and ensured that the cause of reform, opening up, and social modernization continue to forge ahead through wind and waves and make steady and sustained progress. On the new journey, we must heighten our awareness of political dangers, adopt bottom-line thinking, and better coordinate development and security. With an indomitable fighting spirit and a strong capacity for struggle, we must actively respond to major tests involving high winds and rough waters and even dangerous storms, resolutely safeguard China's sovereignty, security, and development interests, and continue to write new chapters in the two miracles of rapid economic development and long-term social stability. Comrades and friends, Comrade Jiang Zemin once looked to the future with confidence. In the new century, the Chinese people will unswervingly continue to advance along the path of building socialism with Chinese characteristics. China's socialist system will become more consolidated and improved through continuous reform. China's development will bring about prosperity for all through the common progress of all its regions, and the Chinese nation on the basis of completing the reunification of the motherland and building a prosperous, strong, democratic, and culturally advanced modern socialist country, will achieve its great rejuvenation. Today, we can say with immense pride that through long and sustained efforts, the cause of the party and the country is flourishing. Peace and stability prevail throughout our land. The people's lives continue to improve. And the prospects for realizing the great rejuvenation of the Chinese nation are bright. The dream for which generations have striven with unwavering dedication is becoming a reality step by step. Only after going through countless trials and hardships have we achieved what we see today. All accomplishments in this world are born of arduous endeavor. These lines of poetry were Comrade Jiang Zemin's stirring interpretation of what it means to strive. The whole party, the entire military, and the Chinese people of all ethnic groups must rally more closely around the CPC Central Committee, hold high the great banner of socialism with Chinese characteristics, remain confident, and strive with determination to advance the cause of building China into a great country on all fronts and realizing great national rejuvenation through Chinese modernization, and continue to create a better life for the Chinese people and write an even more magnificent chapter in the history of the Chinese nation. Thank you.
Comrades, just now, General Secretary Xi Jinping has delivered an important speech. He reviewed Comrade Jiang Zemin's glorious life of struggle. He spoke highly of Comrade Jiang Zemin's contribution to the party and the people, and gave a systemic account of his noble character, emphasizing that we have to earnestly learn from Comrade Jiang Zemin's rock-solid political convictions, his deep and sincere commitment to the people, his innovative spirit of advancing with the times, his far-sighted strategic thinking, and his extraordinary courage and resolve. General Secretary Xi Jinping's important speech is highly political, ideological, and intrusive. We must study it thoroughly, fully grasp its essence, and ensure its effective implementation. Comrades, let us rally even closer around CPC Central Committee with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core. Guided by the Xi Jinping thought on socialism with Chinese characteristics for the new era. Deeply understand the decisive significance of the two establishments, increase the four consciousness, firm up the four confidences, and do the two upholds, hold high the banner of socialism with Chinese characteristics, and stay on the path of the basic theory, root, and strategy of the party, and let us strive to build a strong country and advance national rejuvenation on all fronts through Chinese modernization. Now, please all rise for the International. The commemorative meeting now concludes.